Do this again sometime.
Yes, please.
Hey, should we get something on the books? I mean, we're here.
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Whew, I've just been so busy recently.
So busy.
I'm tired.
Busy and tired, it's like my mantra.
I swear, I'm the busiest person I know.
Believe me, I'm busier.
What are you doing on Wednesday?
I got a thing. You available Thursday afternoon?
Busy.
Friday?
I got work, then yoga, then...
Just reminding me, I got work, yoga, and drinks with a friend. You available in the following 3 weekends?
Booked, and booked.
Same.
How about September?
Feel like I'm gonna be tired that month. Yeah, totally.
November 14th?
Is.
Thanksgiving?
Sorry, bud.
Washington's birthday?
I would love to, but I'm having a Washington's birthday party. The 24th.
Charity event.
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah. I'm doing Hanukkah.
Yeah, me too. I'm celebrating Hanukkah.
The first day of spring?
I'm gonna be at the dentist.
The next Tuesday.
I have drinks with my dentist. Oh, Memorial Day? Next year.
No can do. Don't worry, we'll figure this out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Gayle?
Jess!
Gayle, what's going on?
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you forever!
I mean, how many years has it been?
I know, too long.
So good to see you.
You look fabulous.
How are you?
You know, I'm great, but I'm busy, but how are you?
Oh, I'm busy.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah?
I'm so busy.
Really?
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
I probably work about 80 hours a week. I have 3 jobs.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. I volunteer at the church.
Yeah.
So every like Sunday and Wednesday, I'm there cooking food.
Right.
Praying for the congregation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I have like 3 houses. You know, I Airbnb my home.
Yeah.
So I'm always flipping the rooms. It's good. I'm good. So, but enough about me. How are you?
Dang. I'm like super duper busy. Like I'm telling you, like I've been traveling every month and I've got like all these Fortune 100 clients that are so demanding, right? Like, there's like a
gosh.
waiting list because I'm like up to some really cool stuff,
Yeah.
right? And like my son's graduating from ASU and you're like, that's the most innovative school in the nation above MIT and Stanford. So
Oh,
like
your
he's
son,
graduating,
he's,
so I'm
like,
making all the travel plans to
big
go
deal.
celebrate him.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And like I'm always preparing these really awesome meals like gluten-free, paleo, sugar-free every night with my family. So, you know, I'm doing it all like on 3 or 4 hours of sleep. It's just really crazy.
Gosh, you're amazing.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm like doing this really fabulous keynote for this really
Keynote?
cool.
You're doing a keynote?
I'm doing a keynote for this really cool organization.
AATH?
Yeah.
Hold on. Time out. I am too.
Holy, really?
Hold on. What day is it?
It's Sunday.
Sunday, what? April 7th?
7.
Gayle, I think we're supposed to be keynoting right now.
Oh, wait,
Gayle,
right.
Gayle, look. Oh, shoot.
Crap.
Hey,
everybody,
What's going on?
Woo.
Oh my gosh.
We're so sorry we're late because
Sorry.
we're really important and we're really busy. So we just
busy.
really apologize. We like to be punctual, but you know
Yeah.
we're just really busy.
I know how punctual you guys are. Anyway, besides being punctual,
How the heck are you?
how the heck are you? It's amazing.
You know, I'm not originally from Minnesota, but I live in Minnesota. And where's my Minnesotans? Anybody? Hi. So if you know anything about Minnesotans, they really don't say what they mean. They're like Minnesota nice, right? So in traveling the country, I've had to have like this little decoder because when I ask them how they are, they usually give me 1 or 3 responses. I'm fine, I'm good, and I'm busy.
So busy.
So I got this little decoder dial, right? Like Ralphie, you know, in the Christmas Story show,
Story.
he's got the secret decoder. So it will help me interpret when people are talking to me, like how they are. It's really pretty fabulous. So I'm fine. Biggest lie out there, right next to I've read the terms and conditions. Now, if you told me you're good, I know you're just being nice, right? It's the polite thing to say.
Ain't nobody got time to hear how I'm doing.
Yeah, and we know if you said you're busy, you're important like us too. We got that. We got the memo,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. I kind of have, and again, this is a little bit of therapy for us. Gayle and I might be workaholics, you know, and so what did you say, Gayle, earlier, that you come to present on the thing that you're learning the most in life?
Yeah, whatever you're here to teach is what you're here to learn, right? Anybody
So-
agree with that?
And I have to say that we've been here for 3 days. I don't even know, it feels like forever. But I mean, in a good way. In a good way. It feels like forever. And we've heard a lot, right, from some really great thought leaders, visionaries. And the whole topic of what we've been talking about, is it too soon for humor? Is it?
Well, Jess, I think the timing couldn't be perfect for humor because on a serious note, we're dealing with one of the biggest social epidemics our country has ever faced. Anybody want to guess what that is?
The internet.
The internet?
Kinda.
Isolation.
Yeah.
Ah,
These people are smart.
they really are smart. Maybe you should just come up here and do this for us. Loneliness is the biggest epidemic, or social epidemic, that our country is facing. And I want you to remember, loneliness is not about being alone. It's about not feeling connected, right? We've heard that all throughout our conference and the power of that. And why is that so important? Because when we're social creatures. So when we are separate and not connected, it triggers the fight, flight, or response, freeze response in our brain, which causes stress. So we're going to talk about what is the impact of loneliness on your physiology. And not only that, loneliness is really bad for business. How many are you in business?
All
A couple of you? The American Psychiatric Association said that if you do not have some connected relationship, supportive relationship at work, it drastically affects your performance. In fact, they said that loneliness, that there's a direct correlation to that and your productivity and your absenteeism of your employees or yourself. So there's a flip side to loneliness, and that would be what? Connectedness. I don't know, how many of you are familiar with Harvard's 80-year ongoing study that they're doing? And what they have found is that more than money or fame, the biggest predictor of your long-term health and happiness is the strength of your social connections. So that's the flip side of that. So nowhere ever in time in history has it been more important to establish how do we build rich connections while at work, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Jess and I are actually a part of the fun department. Like, that's a real thing, the fun department. And the fun department has developed a proven strategy to give you a rock-solid foundation to be happier, healthier, and more connected at work.
Yeah, that's the goal. And it's not fund, which when I talk to people about the company I work for, they always ask if it's F-U-N-D. I said, no, but I would like some. But no, as we get into this, if you can click, yeah. This was a little bit of therapy for me. As we started talking, Gayle and I have been collaborating for months to come here and present this. And we started thinking about what is our mission as a company to take this message into the corporate world. And we started talking about loneliness. And somebody said internet, somebody said isolation. But it really is. It's the phones, right? It's the distracted connections that we have on any given basis. So for the next, 2 hours, Paul? You said 2 hours, right?
So glad. You're just such a trooper, people. 2 hours.
Kidding. No,
but we'll be tight on 2 hours.
Yeah, we're gonna go over a little bit. We're not gonna end exactly at noon, so just relax. But if you got to get out of here, we understand. But today's objectives, we really want you to understand the #1 social epidemic facing the world and why it's bad for business as well as health. And then we're gonna dive into why this "I'm so busy" thing is not gonna pave the road to success. But I feel like that's where we are as a society, is that when you say I'm busy, that's a good thing. All right? And then the last thing that we're going to do, which is really the application. You learn what's bad, and then we're going to fix it. And so we can talk about the whys, and we're really excited about AATH and all the research that's being done. But then what do you do with it? And I'm really excited about being the closing keynote, because then hopefully Monday morning, we're going to pop out of bed and ready to go, right? So we're going to give you guys kind of that process, the process of the proven strategy. I call it a business plan. It's a business plan to add into your own day, whether you work at an office with other people or whether you work by yourself. So we're going to give you a simple strategy. And if you see in the middle of your table, we actually have printouts. I know. It'll look like that.
This is for all the incessant note takers like myself, and
Yes.
for any doodlers, doodle away, because we know you will process and learn more. So you'll want some key ingredients to know remember why it's so important. So
I love interactive things. That's why we're asking you questions, and that's why we're going to actually have you do some interactions with each other at your tables, and I'll be walking around the room at some point, okay? Are you ready to dive in? Everybody have one? There's some extras around the room. All right, we're going to dive in. I'm going to kick it back to Gayle, and she's going to talk about some loneliness stats. She's going to drop some on you.
So when I was doing research, because I am not a researcher, but I love, love, love research. Who loves research out there with me? A couple of people. I'm so happy I'm not up here. I was totally shocked to learn that our former Surgeon General says this. During my years caring for patients, the most common pathology I saw was not heart disease, not diabetes, but loneliness. And I'm thinking, really? Like I always see like heart disease and cancer are toggling for number 1 and number 2 killers of Americans, right? They're always kind of bouncing around on there. And I was just totally shocked because I'm thinking, this is the most connected we've ever been in the evolution of humans, right? And so just like Ron Burgundy, I'm like, I don't believe you. Like, how could that even be? Because I've got like over 1,000 Facebook friends, and you know, Jess, she's like a superstar on Instagram. She's got like tens of thousands of followers, right? So it's like, how could we be lonely yet so connected, right? And the thing is that Paul shared a story about his niece, and if I'm getting it right, that she got her hair done and her boyfriend said it was great to her face, but it didn't really matter till it was out on Instagram, right? So we're connected, but we're like dying inside of this loneliness.
I love this one.
So I like to think of myself as a health conscious person, but I had no idea that if I'm feeling lonely, because who's going to talk about feeling lonely unless you're maybe here, right? But it's like that is more detrimental to my health than if I were puffing away 15 cigarettes. That's your answer on your little sheet, 15 cigarettes. So pretty crazy. How about this? 3/4 of us are reporting that we feel lonely at some point in time. 1/3 of us are saying it's on a weekly basis. 43% said that we don't have a meaningful relationship. Given what Harvard is studying, how significant do you think it is to have a meaningful relationship? And then our leaders leading us in business, 50% of CEOs are saying that they're lonely. And then how many have kids or grandkids born between the ages of 1995 and 2012? Generation Z, our future generation, is the loneliest generation of all. Yet, people who engage in frequent, not once a year, twice a year, meaningful in-person interactions have much lower loneliness scores and report better health than those who rarely interact with others face-to-face. How many of you have heard or have experienced, this is my first AATH conference, but the hallmark of the organization is this, right? Face-to-face, you can't replace that. So cute.
Aw, look at them. That's Gayle and I when we were younger.
Yeah. Little small here, but associated risks with loneliness. How about an increase in your mortality by like 26%? How about increased risk of Alzheimer's, altered brain function, blood pressure, cardiovascular disease? It's like goes on and on. So now we get it. Loneliness is what for us? Bad, super bad. But the cherry on top with this is Gallup is telling us 7 out of 10 of us are disengaged. What does that mean? Checked out, living the big snooze at work, right? Jess, you're up.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was over here tweeting.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Well, we have something to do here.
What's going on? Where are we at?
Yeah,
Fill
so
me
like
in, fill me
we
in.
just talked about like we're lonely and disengaged.
Lonely, disengaged,
Right. And so now we're going to be moving on to
My turn. It's my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay. But seriously, that might be a joke, because I know where we're at. But I feel like that's my life. You know, I always feel like I'm distracted. Like, even in this moment, what am I thinking about? Like, oh, I gotta go pack my bags, I gotta go catch my flight. I'm feeling so disconnected, hence the loneliness thing, right? We feel like we're just like isolated and by ourselves in this world.
You're there, but you're not there, right?
Yeah. And so, and that's what I find at work. I don't know, how many people work in corporations? Anybody have clients that are, so those are our clients, and we go in and we see that instead of walking down the hallway to actually go have a conversation with somebody in their office, it'll be easier just to send a quick email. And then we get bothered by how many emails are in our inbox, and we don't get to them all, and then we feel like Ann was talking about this morning, right? The stress levels just go out the roof, all right? And so, you know, and then we're busy. We're always busy, but I feel like that there is a solution to this busyness. So besides that loneliness is impacting our health, this busyness thing is just stressing us out to like no ends. And there has to be something good. And I'm gonna say, like I mentioned earlier, Gayle and I are workaholics, recovering workaholics, all right? You guys have been helpful in our recovery. I'm always multitasking. I feel like I wear 5 different hats, especially for a lot of people in this room.
Who's a multitasker out here?
Solo entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
You're running your books, you're out doing sales. On any given day I wake up and I'm already stressed out by how many things I have to do. I'm checking things off of lists. I'm never really fully present. And so I'm confessing that to you all, but it's true of a lot of people, that they're never really fully present. And so we want to, and the thing is with business, right? When we start talking about humor, play, fun in the workplace, everybody needs to know, right, the ROI. What's the ROI? Why is this important? Why should I pay you money to come in and teach us how to play, have fun, and enjoy work? Well, it's because 25% reduction in productivity if people are multitasking.
Whoa.
Right?
Somebody says, I don't believe you.
Yeah, right? If your employees can be more productive, you're going to save money in the long run. And so you'll see us toggle between health of individuals, but you'll also see us toggle between why this is really important for corporations and actually productivity in the bottom line. So,
so when we're putting this together, Jess was like really getting a little annoyed with me.
I was like, Gayle, Gayle, that's a lot of stats right off the bat. That's a lot of stats. It's really, really heavy. And in fact, there's probably more, so just hold tight, because there's more stats. But we'll get into the actual, the process in a little bit. So, but what I love, and before you jump, Gayle, what I love about AATH is the research that everyone here is doing, because I can't go to a company if I don't have the research behind it. And I can't say that I'm a researcher. I love to be that applied person. I love to go in and work with clients. And so while there's people here that are presenting, and Alan presented Workplace Fun, his research is on the back wall, you know, taking that information, and then I can go talk to the CEO and the C-suite executives and say, here, look, this is why this is super important, evidence-based proof that this stuff is actually going to improve the bottom line and your health of your employees. So I'm really grateful, even though it is a lot of stats. So I'm just throwing that out there before I toss it back to Gayle.
We get it. We're disengaged, we're lonely, and we're busy, right? Like, what's a guy or girl to do? And
this is kind of depressing, Gayle.
I know, it really is depressing. Here's what, in my research, I found that Anders Ericsson, who is the world expert on world experts, said elite performers have something in common. They're really, really good at taking breaks. So I will tell you that I flat out sucked at taking breaks most of my adult life. I grew up on a farm and ranch in North Dakota, and what do you do on a farm and ranch? Work, 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 right? Hi-ho, hi-ho, it's after work we go, and my parents would say, well, Gayle, you could go play when your work is done. When's your work ever done on a farm and ranch, right? And I'll ask you this, when is your work ever done? Because you're connected 24/7, right? So fast forward, I went to college, I became a commercial interior designer because I wanted to impact where people spend most of their waking hours. And lo and behold, the architectural firms I worked for, we billed out to our clients every 5 minutes. So guess what that meant? Billable hours, billable hours, billable hours. There were no breaks in there. I mean, I guess I could go to the bathroom or, you know, whatever, but I worked at my desk for my lunch. So I sucked at taking a break. So fast forward in my career, and now I have 3 kids. I'm married, I have a successful business, and I'm multitasking, And I'm sitting at the place where my son's getting some brain training, and I'm reading a book, and I look up, and there was this flyer on the wall, and it said, play, how it shapes the brain and invigorates the soul. So here was this lecture by Dr. Stuart Brown. Who knows Dr. Stuart Brown? A couple people. He was doing a lecture at the University of Minnesota. So at this point in my life, I'm a responsible adult. I am type A, driven, right up my rear, take myself way too seriously. So I went home and told my family, I'm going to this really serious lecture on play at the U. So I went there, and I sat in the back of a packed lecture hall, and I'm like, holy smokes. Like there's research on what it does not only in your brain, but what it does to our social connections. And at that point, I had been married about 16 years in pretty much a joyless marriage. And I'm like, ding, ding, ding. We don't have fun together because we're too busy being serious, being adults, right? So I was massively lonely in this relationship. He was there every night, every day, but I was super lonely. So the fact that it said play could invigorate my soul, I started tapping in, and we're going to do that in just a little bit together, started tapping in to what lit me up again so that I could be somebody different and experience something different. It has profoundly changed the way I look at life and the way I do life. So enough about me. More stats for you.
There they are.
What if taking the right kind of break at work could do this? 81% happier, 40% increase in your creativity, 28% in your improvement in your focus. How about 11% increase in your productivity? Now, any one of these statistics is a strong merit to take a break at work. But probably my favorite and the most shocking one at all is if you do the right kind of breaks, you will increase your well-being by 78% and you will lower your stress. What do you think your business would look like with that kind of improvement in it, right? So you've heard my experience with having fun, taking breaks. You've seen the research on it. But let me introduce you to the power of what having some downtime does in business. So I'm going to take you back to 1902. A company started on the shores of Lake Superior, and their hope was that they could find a mineral to make sandpaper. Well, not only did they not find the mineral, they found something that had almost little of no value. So they abandoned their hopes of being a mining company, and they bought a sandpaper company. And for years, they had kind of just squeaked by. They were in the red, but they kept squeaking by. But there was one thing that they learned in all the years of being in the red was innovate or die. So in 1948, they implemented what they called the 15% program. And what that meant was employees could take 15% of their time, paid time, to explore whatever that was lighting them up, whatever excited them. So today, I will introduce you to, this company is now a $33 billion company. They are in Fortune's top 25 global companies to work for. They have over 22,000 patents, and I bet you've used their product this week, if not every day. 3M. People think Google was the first one to institute the power of taking breaks. They got their 20% time. So that's the power of what breaks can do in business. Jess, are you ready?
All right. Thoughts? Loneliness? Busyness? Taking good breaks at work, right? So from here on out, it's going to be interactive. You guys up for the challenge?
Yeah, because you guys are looking a little sleepy. So
Back
now
row,
comes
I love it. I love
the fun.
So here on out, this is your plan, all right? So your playbook, we're going to start with step 1. So that tomorrow morning, you can actually go into your workday, be more connected, be less busy, and be more productive. But it all revolves around taking good breaks. And the thing is, let me kick it back to the actual title of this keynote. Ain't nobody got time for that. We hear that all the time from companies. We are too busy to take breaks. We're too busy to team build.
How many feel like that? That you're too busy to take a break.
Yes.
And that's not what a really good, efficient hard worker does, right? Because if you're a hard worker, you're a good person. And if you're busy, you're even a better person, right?
So what we've done is we've switched the model. Oh, you don't have time? Oh, yes, you do. Do you actually walk down the hallway to go to the bathroom? So we've shortened up this model of fun and so that we can actually take breaks during the workday. So step one, Gayle mentioned Dr. Stuart Brown. This is going to be identify your play personality. 8 different play personalities, and I'll tell you a little personal story about myself as well. I thought there was something missing in the fun department's model, and so I started thinking about play. There's really research around play. So as much as scholarly as I am, I go to Google, and I start to Google play personalities, and I took one of those little fun assessments, you know, where you just click on things, and then pops your personality. And so I did it. It took me maybe like 3 or 4 minutes to get through it. And all of a sudden, my top 2 play personalities came up. So there's 8, and we're going to give you time to talk about it around your group. But my play personalities were the mover and the joker. All right? And
Can't
you
wait
might be
to see
saying,
how many-
like, okay, I know myself. I know this. But I'm telling you, I know that about myself. But when I saw it on the computer, I go, that makes so much sense. That is why I like to get up from my desk and go outside and move my car every hour, because we park in the city, so you can only have an hour parking. So instead of looking at it negatively, I go, oh wait, I get to move every hour and go move my car and come back in, all right? And that's why I like to walk around the office and just joke with people. I also realize that there's ways that I don't necessarily like to play, and that's okay, and we'll get to that later. All right, here's a question. How many jokers in the room? Yeah, there's my jokers. This is for me. This is for my own. How about movers? Got some movers. Mary Kate, I saw you on the dance floor last night. Explorers?
How many explorers are there? Aha! You're my people.
All right, what about the competitors? Who was in
only a couple competitors.
Who was in Erica's workshop yesterday? Yeah, I just pretend to be a competitor. I'm really not. I'm really not competitive. All right, now where are my storytellers? Let's be honest. All right, there we go. That's my AATH family, my storytellers.
Right.
So here's the thing, when you're self-aware and you know this about yourself, it makes sense, right? That's the first step. Knowing your play personality, what really gives you joy, is step number 1. I'm going to toggle it over to Gayle, and she's going to go through step number 2.
All right, so we're going to hop to the second step, and that's going to start with the question, what's fun for you? So on your next sheet on your playbook, you're going to do a mad dash of writing to write down what's fun for you. Now, if you were like me, way back when I heard Dr. Stuart Brown, I'm like, got no clue. Got no clue. I don't know what's fun for me. My boys were playing with Legos at that point, and I'm like, that's not fun for me. In fact, it kind of ticked me off sometimes when I'm walking and like, ow! Like stepped on one of those dang Legos. So I had no clue what was fun for me. So I'll invite you to go back to when you were a kid and figure out, is there anything that you like to do as a kid that you might want to explore today? And for those of you that had traumatic childhood memories, just look back in your life to see, was there ever just even a moment in time that you had joy and experienced joy?
Gayle, what's fun for you?
I love hula hooping, and we're going to tell you why we like hopscotching in a minute.
Yep.
But I
like
riding.
paddleboarding.
Do you?
Yeah,
I love
paddleboarding
dancing
in the ocean.
Any dancers out here? The rumba. All right, so you got your fun playlist, but let me tell you how this moves in action, because we're all about the application, right? Here's the power of your fun list. So I have a client, and I happened to run into his wife at a social function, and she's like, oh my gosh, Gayle, like this totally works. So he's like a podcaster, he has his own business, a consultant, does like 50 million things, and she said, now he starts out his day with his fun playlist. And he starts his day with what's fun for him. And then he goes to work, and he starts doing what he needs to do. When he feels the energy waning, he feels stuck, he feels frustrated, what does he do?
Plays.
He stops, and he picks the next thing on his playlist. And then, now these are short, right? It's not like he's going out half the day going paddleboarding or something like that. But then he starts in his work again. Now think about that. If you're always creating from a place and an energy of joy, what kind of work do you think you put out there? But what do most of us responsible adults do? Push through, get the grind, keep going, moving on, and that's what you're creating your work in and through. Don't think for a minute that people can't feel the difference of your work, right? Am I right?
He looks happy. Doesn't he look happy? All right, here's the deal. Step 3. Are you with us? Yes. By the way, step 6 through 10 is all together, so don't get anxious, all right?
Yeah.
I can just feel the energy in the room.
Yeah.
All right, so step 3 is about setting your intention. Does everybody know Richard Branson? He says a day without an intention is a day wasted. And I'll tell you what, like Gayle had mentioned, the first thing that this guy did before he started his day was play. All right? If you don't start your day with setting an intention for that day, somebody else is going to do it for you. Am I right? It could be your husband, it could be your kids, it could be your coworker, it could be your boss.
It's like a regular hijacking happening all day long.
So you have to start your day with an intention. So in front of you, we've been gracious enough to give you a bunch of words because we knew on Sunday morning at a conference your brains are going to be fried, right? All those little balls that Paul had to throw up in the air, all that stress. So what do you want for today or tomorrow? But make it really, really applicable. I feel like sometimes we do these things and we think very, big picture, and it's like, oh, this is real great. But if you don't apply it, like as soon as we're done here, what is your intention for the rest of the day? Do you want to feel energetic, joyful, creative, productive? Like productive is okay, right? Like if you have a lot of things on your plate and you have to be super productive, that's great. If you have to give a keynote at a conference, maybe energetic is the way that you want to feel. So there's no music. I'm just kind of talking through this.
Just circle one or two.
And circle some words.
Who likes magic? Anybody?
Linda, is she still here?
This is like magic for your day. You will be amazed at how powerful it will turn your day around by just taking a few moments to think about how do I want to feel.
So here's the deal. I'm gonna toggle it back to Gayle, but you start with your play personality. That's who you are, at the core of who you are. What's fun for you? Really remember what is fun for you. And then what's your intention for the day? Now that is gonna help with our happiness, and that's gonna help with our loneliness. But what about the connection? Oh, by the way, that's Paul setting his intention for the day. Right, Paul?
That's right.
How am I gonna set my intention for the day?
All right, step number 4.
Social connection.
Social connection, the power of we. Yet we've been raised in a society to be me, be the MVP, get the best grades, be the valedictorian, and then we go into work, be the best salesperson, be the CEO, right? Am I right? That's what we teach and that's what we reward, is the me. But we're going to talk about the power of we. And here's what's happened. So you've got your playlists, right? Look at your neighbors. Is their playlist the same for
Maybe for this group.
Yeah, it could be some similarities, right? So often what happens is, okay, we're talking about loneliness, we're talking about how to develop good, rich relationships at work. Here's what happens. Things can go sideways really fast at work. How many of you have been like in a team building event or an effort to make some connection and build some bonds, but it was flat out not fun for you? Anybody experience that? We find that most people experience that because guess what? Jess designed the fun because it's fun for her. But I'm like, yeah, like I'm doing eye rolls like my teenagers do with me on a regular basis, right? Not fun, doesn't build connection. You might feel good about it because it's like, yeah, I did this for my team, this is what I'm supposed to do, I'm supposed to create connection, blah, 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 I know teams are good. But they're all doing eye rolls, they're giving you fake smiles, and it doesn't work. Doesn't build connection, maybe for a moment, might tick them off, might hurt your productivity. So this is the power of the we. Oh, so here's where hopscotch comes in. You're like, Mary Kay, she was talking about when she's talking to high schoolers, having been an elementary teacher, like they're like, wow, this is so elementary, right? Or something to that effect. So you're thinking, why are you doing hopscotch, right? Well, remember, Jess is the joker.
The mover, I'm the mover.
Joker and the mover. And I'm the explorers, so I'm like, I don't want to do a keynote and just talk at people the whole time. I want them to do stuff. I want them to experience things. I want to have hopscotch, right, in my keynote. I want to, do something different, because explorers just like to do things and discover new things, whatever way it is. And then I'm a maker. I'm an artist creator. So if you look at my little rock, one of my breaks this week was painting my little smiley crying emoji on my rock, right? So I just like to create. And guess who did the slides? Love them or hate them, I did them, because it feeds my soul. So when we're thinking about you guys, how can we put our best into doing this? So we took what our play personalities and we popped it in here, and guess what? You guys are getting way better than if we thought, we've got to do it like this. This is what a keynote looks like, right? Or whatever.
Yeah. So
It's your turn.
that's the power of the we. It's taking what's fun for Gayle, taking what's fun for Jess, and figuring out the commonality. And we've never done this with a group of people where two folks haven't found some commonality. You can be super different, but if you give people the opportunity to talk about what's fun for them, they do find commonality. And that's what we want in corporate America. It's not administrator and salesperson. They're two humans interacting and having fun together. And that's going to change the way that we work. Okay, now here. I want to share an applicable story, but before we move into step number 5. So this quote up here is from a client that we work with. They are the transportation company in Delaware. Yes, we did it first, by the way, Delaware. That's a joke. But the thing is, when you work with companies, and I had a couple conversations around the room, people are scared of fun and play in the work environment. We walk into a client and it says the fun department, and people get nervous.
I get nervous. I'm the serious person, right? You tell me we're going to do group fun, I'm like, that's a big no.
So this testimonial to me just speaks to how our model works. I've never been motivated by or enjoyed team building events, truth, but the fun department's approach made their involvement in our program something that was looked forward to. And when I read that, I said, wow, that's really exciting, because we ask a lot of questions up front and we customize the fun for their people. So it's not this just, this one size fits all. You really have to let people play and experience fun and connections in the way that makes them feel comfortable. So step 5, you guys, I don't know if anybody knows this about me, but I'm a personal trainer. I like to work out. And there's this beautiful thing about developing a habit, right? It's great to think about all of these wonderful things, but if you don't create a habit around playing and putting these small breaks into your workday or your team's workday, it's never going to happen, right? It's kind of, Gayle had mentioned this earlier. If you worked out twice a year, would you get results? The answer is no, you're not going to get results. So the reality is that if you want these play breaks to actually change your life, your health, your loneliness, your social connections, you have to do it on a consistent basis. And so some of the easy ways that you can do to create a habit around this is put it in your schedule, right? Have the phone, put it in the schedule, have a reminder pop up. And you make that break as important as you would a monthly meeting with your coworkers or a client review. You want to commit to that? Should we commit to that? Are we going to do that?
First you make your habits, and then your habits make you, right?
So creating habits, Gayle, 6 through 10. Boom.
All right, we're almost done. Here's what's going to happen. Because I know you're all, well, you guys are all better at this play stuff than I am. I'm still kind of a kindergartner. I love this quote by Tony Schwartz from the Energy Project. He said, when demand in our life intensifies, we tend to hunker down and push harder. The trouble with that, without any downtime to refresh and recharge, we're less efficient. We make more mistakes and we get less engaged with what we're doing. And I will add to that, we will perpetuate this social epidemic that's killing our country of loneliness, right? I'm going to end on, we're going to close this down with this story. How many of you have read The Big Potential by Sean Aker? Anybody? Big Potential with Sean Aker. He talks about this whole, like I talked earlier, how we are as Americans, we like are wired to be the Lone Ranger, to be Superman, to be the one and only everything. Yet we've missed the boat on the power of we. And he says that we have capped our potential because we are so focused on me. And in order to untap and uncap our potential, our full potential, is the power of community and connection. And so I love this story. It was from the 1930s, and this scientist was in Southeast Asia, and all of a sudden he's on the river, and the mangroves are surrounding him, and all of a sudden he saw a tree light up as though it had been struck by lightning and lit up, but then almost immediately went out. So he went back and reported this, and everybody thought he was crazy and making this stuff up, but later scientists have discovered what it was lightning bugs. How many used to like to catch lightning bugs when they were a kid?
You farmers. I'm in the city. We
Right?
don't do lightning bugs or bugs, period.
Here's the cool thing that they found. The males are up in the trees, the females are on the riverbanks, and in order to find each other, they light up. They found that if lightning bugs are lighting up on their own or flashing on their own, their chance of finding their mate is 3%. What they found is if they light up together, their odds of finding their mate went up to 82%. So their ability to be effective increased by 79%. That is the power of us working together. Pretty amazing, right?
Yeah. And literally, this is, like, as Gayle has mentioned, this was her first AATH conference. I've been to a couple of these. You probably saw Nick present if you were here a couple years ago. And what I love about this group is that you guys amplify and you personify the power of we, right? And, yes, give yourselves a hand. And when Gayle talks about lightning bugs, like, I go to church and we talk about putting a dent in the dark world, right? And I literally feel the light of this room. You know, this is us together getting lit up to actually go make a dent in the darkness. And that's why you guys are like my soul animals. I found you all because I feel like I know people that are also out there doing this. All right. And so Gayle and I want to thank you for allowing us to be a part of your group, for inviting us in and allowing us to speak our expertise, our experiences with you, because you're all great people doing great things. And if you see in your booklet, there's an email address. If you want to stay connected with us, Mary Kay, you want to convince us to be part of the Humor Academy, like, let's stay connected, right? Humor Zoomers, I believe there's something going on. Like, you're all about staying connected. And this organization is moving powerfully in that direction. And so with that,
We're ditching unproductive, lonely, and disengaged, right? And we're welcoming in happier,
healthier and crazy
healthier
cool connected.
and more connected.
Thank you guys for having us.